Good evening, beautiful people of the You Create the Dream page, and welcome to Awake in the Dream. This is our fortnightly call. Although 2 weeks ago I had no internet, so I did do a recorded call the following day from the car, and 2 weeks prior to that I had no internet. But here I am tonight, and I am hoping that you can all see me. Let's just make sure that I am visible on my page. I am not there yet. Okay. Do say hi as you come on. Let me know that you're here because, as usual, I do always love to acknowledge your divine presence. Okay, still not seeing myself. I will give it just another moment. It has just gone 7 o'clock. Let's see. Here we are. Hello, 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 beautiful Marina, sweetheart. I hope you are feeling so much better. Okay, messages or comments are coming through on my phone. Let's just move over to the phone. Hello, beautiful Chelsea. Hello, beautiful Libby. Hello, ladies. I hope you are fabulous. What a week it has been for many, many people. So, thank you so much, Libby. I love the back. I get text messages saying, I see you, I see you. So, it's been a difficult week for many, many people. And I mean, if we look at the past week, many of us have also witnessed the terrible, terrible devastation of earthquakes around the world, 2 seconds apart in Venezuela specifically. And whenever the earth shakes, something in us shakes awake too, because the earth is not subtle when she moves. She cracks, she shifts, she breaks open what was once solid. And I want to send my prayers. I have been holding an incredible vision for Venezuela, especially. There's been a whole lot of very real human suffering, so I want to send a lot of love that way and acknowledge that the suffering is real. When natural disasters happen, terrible things unfortunately come with that: the loss, the shock, the grief, and then the rebuilding. But what I also want to do tonight is I want to speak about something that many people have also been feeling internally this past week. Just as devastating things are happening around us, for many people it's been happening internally as well. This past week, it hasn't only felt like the earth has been shaking. I've had so many people reaching out, and for many people, it has felt like life itself has been cracking open. I feel like this is going to be a call that really touches a lot of you deeply. Things that have been held together for too long have started to fracture for many people. Pressure that has been building quietly has no choice but to come to the surface now. Emotions that were pushed down have demanded to be felt. Now, what I do want to say, and most of you know my oil and water mix, right? So we have the oil and water. As a shift starts to occur around us, as we start to raise our vibration, as we start to question, like, why God, why universe, things shift in us and a separation begins to occur. What was of the old vibration has to come up to come out. And if there's a lot of stuff buried in there and all of that stuff is coming up at once, it's an eruption. And a lot of us find it very difficult to deal with those eruptions because they come up hard and fast. So anything of the old frequency, anything of the old vibration is coming up to come out because we are being called to be far more than we have been before. And for every little change that happens within us, everything attached to that has no choice. It has to come up and out. We look at the separation, how quickly that happened, right? So we need to be kind to ourselves, but we also need to understand that as the emotions are coming up to be dealt with, perhaps even conversations that were avoided for perhaps a long time have now become unavoidable. Situations that were perhaps manageable suddenly feel like they're way too heavy to keep carrying. And sometimes when life cracks open, Our first response is panic. Now, that's a default response. What happens is sometimes we think something has gone wrong. But what if the crack is not always destruction? What if sometimes the crack is actually the opening? What if the part of your life that is splitting apart is not the part that was actually meant to last or meant to stay, but the part that was keeping you from breathing properly, perhaps? So I hope that made sense. What if that crumbling was a thing that was not meant to continue to be a part of your journey, and it was a thing that was stopping you from breathing deeply? Because when you've got all this stuff trapped inside of you, suddenly you're a shallow breather. It's all too hard, it's all too much, and you become addicted to cortisol. I will get into that a little bit more later too. So, good evening, beautiful Valerie. Good evening, beautiful Jenny. How are you? How are you? How are you? Have I missed anybody? Hello, beautiful ladies. So lovely to finally be on live again. So, tonight I want to speak to those of you who have been under pressure and felt like it's all too much. That perhaps you're losing control or falling apart, or, the ones who on the outside seem to be holding it all together. The brave face or the stiff upper lip and saying, I'm fine, whilst your nervous system is whispering, no, we're fucking not. Right? I also want to speak to those of you who have been strong for everybody else, practical for everybody else, available for everybody else, holding it together for everybody else. And somewhere along the lines, you've become so disconnected from yourself. Please remember that being cracked open, going through these difficulties, isn't to punish you. Sometimes life cracks open to reveal where you have abandoned your own power. And sometimes the breakthrough begins in the exact moment that you feel like you can't hold it all together anymore. So, a few days ago, I had a conversation with someone who was under immense stress and pressure. She had been carrying so much for so long that she felt almost out of her body, dissociated, disconnected, not fully here. And if you have ever been in that state, you know exactly what it is that I mean. Here, but not here. It's like you're functioning, but not fully present. You're talking, but a part of you is somewhere else. You have exited the building, so to speak. You're making decisions, but you don't feel anchored in those decisions. You're moving through life, but you're not actually present enough to be even inhabiting yourself. And this is what prolonged stress can do. It can pull us out of our center. It can make us feel unsafe in our own body. It can make clarity feel nearly impossible. It can make the future feel very foggy. And in that moment, the first thing we need to do is not to try to solve the whole life. It is about coming back to this moment, coming back to the body. And this is what we had to do in the conversation. It was about bringing her back to breath, back into her body, because you cannot access higher guidance when you are not fully here. You can't clearly hear God, the universe, your soul, your intuition, that gut instinct. You can't tap into that when your nervous system is in survival mode. So we grounded, we breathed, we brought her back to the present moment of remembering there is power there for her to access. The breath is so extremely powerful. It's our life force. It's literally life. And when you get your breathing right and you allow yourself to receive the gift of life and the support that comes with it, you naturally begin to feel better because now you're oxygenating your system. You're allowing light back in. So often, when we've been in a state of stress for far too long, the body literally becomes addicted to the cortisol. So a part of us then needs to feel drama. We need the drama to feed the cortisol addiction, even though we do not consciously choose or want stress or cortisol. I can't imagine anybody ever wanting to choose that consciously. But there's a part of us that does choose that. There's a part of us that feeds that when the body is in an addicted state. Again, it is not a conscious choice, not a conscious choice at all. I can't imagine anybody consciously wanting to choose that. So, what I did say to her is, I want you to start affirming that life can be calm and peaceful. When we're in the midst of a crisis, jumping from a dissociated state, jumping from fear and trauma to, oh my God, my life is amazing, right? It seems impossible. And if we don't believe it's possible, then it's not. So when we're in that state, we just need to focus on the next best feeling. So we imagine it to be a ladder. So we choose the next rung on the ladder, just the next best feeling. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I can get through this. And then the next best feeling, and then the next best feeling, and the next best feeling. And when we do it in increments, it becomes a lot easier to climb that ladder rather than being in a state of desperation and affirming, my life is amazing, everything I touch is amazing. If we can't buy into it, we can't receive it. So to state that life can, I didn't say it is calm and peaceful. To state that life can be calm and peaceful isn't trying to convince yourself that it is, but rather that it can be. And in that state of can be, it opens you up to I just bit my lip. It opens you up to possibilities. What if? What if? What if it can be? What if it can be? Now, in that state, in the state of the what if it can be? The breath suddenly becomes deeper. You're now open to possibilities. It's easier to breathe at that point. And then I said something that I want to offer every person listening tonight, and of course, those that listen to the recording. I said, you tell God, tell the universe, tell life itself, you show me. I did swear. You effing show me, right? You show me that you have my back. Give me undeniable evidence that you have my back. Show me how freaking good life can be. Show me the support. Show me the path. Show me the way forward. Show me what it is I can't see right now. Show me what I cannot see from this state of fear. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging your humanness. And I want you to feel the power in that. Just feel the power in that. Show me, universe. Show me how freaking awesome life can be. Show me that you have my back. Because that is not begging, it's commanding. It's not handing your life over and saying, please, please, please rescue me. I can't do this anymore. Please rescue me. It's not begging that comes from lack. It's you returning to partnership with something greater than yourself. It's you standing in the middle of that storm and saying, I am ready to see clearly now. You show me. You show me the way. This is where many people misunderstand power. They think that reclaiming power means controlling every outcome. But for those that have worked with me, you know that if you're trying to control every outcome, you are actually coming from a state of fear. So it doesn't, it's not what it's about. Reclaiming power means that you stop collapsing inside the unknown. You don't have a breakdown when you don't know the way. It means that you stop handing your you stop handing your energy to panic. You stop feeding panic, because what we feel, we focus on. What we talk about, we focus on, we feed it, and it grows. It means that you stop treating fear like it's the highest and strongest authority in the room. It means you return to your power, your center. And perhaps you can say, I may not know the whole path, but I'm willing to see the next step. So many people don't move until the whole path reveals itself, but life doesn't work like that. As much as you want it to, it does not work like that. Show me the next step, and then the next step will reveal itself if I'm open to receiving it. And this is so important because when you're overwhelmed, you often make very damaging statements or affirmations, and you ask the wrong questions. So when we're in that state, we often ask or say things like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. Or what if everything falls apart? What if I can't handle this? What if there's not enough? What if there's no way through? Oh my God, I have no support. This is not my universe examples. I have no support. I can't get through this. What if I'm alone? But what if you're not? What if you're not? The entire universe has your back. And when you reclaim power, you start asking very, very different questions. You ask, what support is already here that I haven't allowed myself to receive? How powerful is that? What is life trying to show me? What is the next best aligned step? What would I do if I trusted that I was being guided right now? What would become available if I stopped assuming that I am the one that had to carry it all alone? Completely different set of questions, completely different way of thinking. And these questions change the frequency of the entire situation, not because they magically erase every challenge. They don't. There are waves that we have to ride, but because they move you from a state of helplessness and into a relationship with possibility. Can you feel that? They move you from contraction into openness. They move you from survival into being an active participant. And within hours of that conversation, the downloads came. Support came because she was prepared to ground herself with the breath. She was prepared to start to ask the what if questions, to open herself up to possibilities. And within hours, things changed. And more than that, the ability to see the support that had already been there came. And that's huge. It's huge because sometimes support is not absent. Sometimes our ability to receive it is blocked. It's blocked by pride. It's blocked by perhaps fear, by exhaustion, by the belief that we have to be the ones to do everything ourselves, or by the old identity that says, I must be the strong one. But the new consciousness, it doesn't ask you to carry life alone. It asks you to become available to the support that has been trying to reach you, because it's always there. It's there for all of us. So what if the crack is actually revealing the light? And I truly believe that. What if the crack being cracked open is actually revealing the light? But here's another thing I believe about that. The crack is where the truth gets out, because pressure reveals. It reveals what was not sustainable. It reveals our old habits. It reveals our default program. It reveals where we were over functioning. It reveals where we were saying yes when our soul was perhaps screaming out no. It reveals where we were mistaking survival for alignment. It reveals where we were loyal to old patterns and behaviors that were never really loyal to us. They were the very things that just kept holding us back. So when life cracks open, the question is not only how do I put everything back, or no, it's actually not how do I put everything back the way it was, because there is no going back. There's no going back. The deeper question is, was the old structure actually supporting my highest life? Was it supporting my highest life? Because if it was, you wouldn't be feeling what you're feeling right now. So clearly the answer is no. Many people are trying to rebuild the very thing that exhausted them. They want the pain, excuse me, they want the pain to stop, so they rush back to what is familiar. But familiar is not always free. Familiar is not always aligned. Familiar is not always truth. Sometimes the old structure has to shake because your soul has outgrown that room. You can't keep doing things the way you were doing them. And yeah, that can feel terrifying. It can have you feeling broken. But it can also be an incredibly sacred part of the journey, because the moment everything feels uncertain is often the moment that you are being invited into a deeper trust. Not a passive trust, not, sit on the couch and do nothing trust, but embodied trust, the kind that says, I'm listening, God. I'm listening. I'm ready to act now. I allow myself to receive now. I will stop fighting the very support that I have been praying for, and instead I allow myself to graciously receive it. Thank you. It was always there, but now I allow myself to receive it. On that note of receivership, support requires receiving. Many people say they want support, they pray for support, but when support arrives, they either don't want it to come that way because they've got opinions about it, or they don't even know what to do with it when it comes. They minimize it, they deflect it. They feel guilty, they assume there must be a catch, they try to repay it immediately. They tell themselves that they're not worthy of it, that other people need it more. And then they wonder why life feels so heavy for them. And it's so important that we all understand that receiving is not weakness. Receiving is spiritual maturity. Receiving is saying, I am a part of life. I am not separate from it. So I've got to stop behaving as though I'm separate from it. I am allowed to be held. I am allowed to be helped. I am allowed to be guided. Hi, beautiful Sharon, how are you? I am allowed to be supported without earning it through absolute exhaustion. And this is where power returns, because power is not only in doing, power is also in allowing. Power is in letting the right people show up. It's in letting the doorway open. Power is in recognizing the signs, the synchronicities, the nudges, the messages, the conversations, the timing. Power is in saying, I see it now. I see it now. I acknowledge that the support was never missing. I was bracing so damn hard that I couldn't feel it. So I want to give you a little process. Let's do a little process, actually, simple and powerful. And if you do it from your center, actually Commit yourself to being present whilst we do this process. I really feel that something will shift inside of you. So I want you to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Gently closing your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale. And again, a deep breath in and exhale. You see, we're not trying to escape anything. We're trying to be grounded in our power in all things. And I want you simply to say, I am here. And again, I am here. And now I want you to notice what has perhaps felt heavy lately. Not the whole story, but just the energy of it. What in your life has perhaps been too much? What has felt like pressure for you? Where have you felt as though life has been perhaps cracking you open? And just notice it. And now I want you to imagine that the part of you that has been bracing, gripping, carrying, trying to hold it all together can soften now by even 1%, just a little bit, just 1%. Just allow yourself to be safe in this moment and soften slightly. And now I want you to say, I don't have to solve my whole life from this state. And just breathe. And I want you to speak these following words to God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. Just repeat after me, show me. Show me, God. Show me. Show me that I am supported. Show me the path that I can't see yet. Show me the next best step. Show me what is ready to open. Show me how good life can become when I stop gripping fear and start standing in my power. And really let that land. This is not a demand. This is a declaration of willingness. And now trust in what comes as I ask the following. What support have you been unable or unwilling to receive? Let the answer come. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's professional help. Maybe it's a decision that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the support of your own body asking you to slow down. Whatever it is, just let it come. And now I want you to say, I am willing to receive support in the form that it comes. And again, I am willing to receive support in the way that it comes. If I were to ask you now, what is your next best step? What comes? Not the whole staircase, just one step. What is your next best step? What are you being asked to do? Is it a call? Do you need to make a call? Is it a message, a boundary, a prayer, a plan, a yes, a no? What is your next best step? And now I want you to say, I reclaim my power. I stand in my power. I choose to see clearly. I choose to move with life, not against it. And breathe. Just breathe. And as you breathe, imagine your energy returning to your body. It returns from the past, it returns from the future, it returns from fear, from pressure, from people, from the problem. See and feel your energy being returned to you. And say, I return to myself now. I am here. I am here. And so it is done. And when you're ready, taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, opening your eyes. Here's what I know. When people come back into their power, they see differently. Not because life instantly becomes perfect, but because fear is no longer standing in front of the lens. They're no longer looking through fear. And if you're no longer looking through fear, things appear differently. They begin to see the support. They begin to see that there's a choice. They begin to see the patterns. They also begin to see where they themselves were abandoning themselves. They can see where they were trying to control what really needed to be surrendered. They can see where they were being invited into something more. And I know it's the title of my latest book, but that's what it means to have eyes wide open, to see the path more clearly, to see what is more clearly, not seeing through fear, but seeing through truth, not becoming suspicious of life, becoming intimate with your own guidance, not bracing for disaster, but instead opening to evidence that life can hold you, life can support you, life can guide you, and life can freaking surprise you. And it can meet you in ways that fear couldn't. In a state of fear, you can't imagine all the possibilities that exist. So if life has cracked open for you recently, I want you to remember and I want you to really understand, please don't rush to call it failure. Don't rush to call it falling apart. Don't rush to rebuild the old just because the unknown feels uncomfortable. You don't want the old. You've been cracked open so the old can come up and out. Instead, stand still for a moment. Breathe. Breathe deeply. Just come back to, it's so simple. Come back to the breath. Receive the life force. Receive the power that is being offered to you. And ask. Ask to be shown. And then look with eyes wide open. Watch what arrives. Watch who reaches out. Watch what becomes obvious. Notice what your body already knew. Watch what your soul has been trying to tell you. Because sometimes a crack is not the end. Sometimes a crack is the first honest opening. It's part of the first step. So my wish for each and every one of you tonight is, may you stop trying to hold it together. May you stop trying to hold so tightly to what your soul is trying to outgrow. May you stop mistaking pressure for punishment. It is not punishment. May you stop believing that support has to look the way your mind expects it to look, because very rarely does it. May you become available to the undeniable evidence that the universe has your back, evidence that you are guided, evidence that you are held, evidence that the path can appear, evidence that life can be better than your fear has ever allowed you to imagine. May you stand in your power enough to return completely to your body, to return to your breath, to return to your center of power, to stand in your power so clearly that the next step finds you easily. And you know what? Life happens. But when it shakes a little, may you become still enough to hear what is being revealed so that you can move through it extremely quickly. When life cracks a little bit, may you become brave enough to see that there's magic at play. And remember, hand on heart, deep breath in, show me, universe. Show me. Show me how freaking good life can be. Show me the path. Show me that you have my back. Show me the support. Show me the life that is waiting on the other side of this fear or this shit I'm feeling. May I have the courage to receive it. Okay, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again in 2 weeks. And until then, please remember to stand in your power. There's a lot of stuff happening across the planet. We feel it in our own personal worlds as well. Stay standing in your power and breathe, breathe, breathe. I love you lots. Much love to each and every one of you. I wish you an amazing evening and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.